one lets you know if you're full. It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. It's a sugar-free fast melt caramel. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel. We're noticing other people losing up to 7 pounds in the first week. 4 pounds has been about the average. As you lose weight and as you take these Bella Melts, it's going to help lower that blood sugar in your body as well.
All the information is there. MelissaHouseBG.com, MelissaHouseBG.com. Just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action.
Welcome to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. We are live on worldviewtube.com, WorldViewTube, a Rumble and X account, and also on WorldViewTube app, which I always say, if you haven't installed it yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. It is for free. It is available on your App Store, and it does make your life a lot easier if you are like me, doing everything on your phone. It's easier to do at WorldViewTube on your App Store. Install it, turn on your notification. Also, we're live on X America News X account. We are live on my platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, X, and of course, Substack. As always, I will be looking at the comments as we get a chance. I already see you guys on Substack. Hi, Annalise. Good to see you. Skid, good to see you. Lori from Canada. Always good to see you. I hope it's warming up in some places. It's definitely not warming up here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I will be joined here shortly by a very special guest. It's a first timer on my show. However, he's no stranger to me or the cause that we've been covering for a long time. But before we bring him on, I want to say I had many of wonderful, wonderful friends and supporters writing me asking, what happened? It's done, you know, it's over. It's not, guys. It is so not over. Again, just because certain headlines move on from it doesn't mean the revolution is over, nor are the efforts. I actually have a video for you to take a look to believe that it is far from over. Let's take a look at a video from Los Angeles, California, yesterday, Sunday, February 1st.
صبح امید وطن جلوه کن در آسمان همچو مهر جاودان وطن ای هستی من شور و سرمستی من جلوه کن در آسمان همچو مهر جاودان بشنو سوز سخنم که هم آواز تو منم همه جان و تنم وطنم 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 وطنم.
There you go. Just yesterday, and that was just Los Angeles, California, with reports from the police itself of estimated over 100,000 people. We also have, of course, there is Toronto, Canada, that showed up over 150,000. We had all across Europe, DC, and on and on. So, guys, it is not over. It is not over. If you recall, those of you who have been watching my program or whenever I was on Brannon, from day one, I said, regardless of actions by international leaders, this is the last battle. It is the last battle. It will continue being the last battle. You may not hear much about it. You may not see it on the report. It might have been shifting focus to just U.S. Actions and reactions. However, it's not over. It was so beautiful to watch the videos yesterday. Unfortunately, I am planning, Lord willing, to join the big one that was called in by Crown Prince Pahlavi himself. Yesterday, he called for a cross-world action on February 14, Valentine's Day. So I am hoping to join one of these rallies on that day. It depends on how far they're going to be and if the weather allows. Of course, we're under like 14 inches of snow. It's a little hard to get to my gas station, let alone another state or city. But I keep bringing the videos to you, and I am still reporting on my social media, Facebook specifically, and also Substack. Let me just put a plug here. If you're not a subscriber on my Substack, I do encourage you to join my Substack at liveuptofreedom.substack.com. That's liveuptofreedom.substack.com. I am covering it all historically, digging information. Today's Substack, for those of you who have not seen it yet, today at 1:30 a new Substack came out with some really disturbing information, and it was actually one of those times that it seems like it's related to Iran, but it's not. I guess blew the whistle on 227 Congress members who have endorsed Mariam Rajavi and MEK, and the worst part of it, I guess, for people who are still picking sides is that 144 out of 227 are Republicans, not some small names. There are some Republicans. I broke it down on my Substack. There's a link to the actual congressional letter and all of that. But yeah, we have 144 Congress members, including names that have screamed on cameras against Sharia, all the way from Texas to Florida, who have endorsed Mariam Rajavi and MEK. And I did say on my Substack, this isn't even about Iran, because trust me, it doesn't matter who tries what, MEK will never come to power in Iran. I mean, genuinely never. However, the danger for America is how 144 so far, 144 American Republican representatives have endorsed this woman and her group. And it's hard to say Congress members don't know about MEK. They have kind of bought into the lobbyists of MEK, who are also mainly in majority conservative Republicans in America. I feel like I'm going on and on. I took most of the first segment. There's a lot to talk about, but I don't want to do that talking alone today. Joining me today is a fellow Iranian American. His name is Shayan Arya. He is the Secretary General of the new Constitutionalist Party of Iran, and much more, which he will tell us about it all in a minute. Shayan Jan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
The pleasure is all mine. I apologize. I didn't mean to go so long on that monologue, but sometimes I don't even know which side I need to cover. The dangers of America, the Iran situation. But before we dive into all of that, I gave a one-liner bio of yours, and since this is your first time on my show, do you mind taking a minute or two and introducing yourself to my audience so they know where you come from, where you stand, and where your plans are to go forward?
Okay, well, I'm an Iranian American. I've been active in politics for over 40 years, and I was for a long time member of the Constitutionalist Party of Iran, Liberal Democrat. But last year, me and a group of our friends, we decided to form a new political organization, and we did that. And I was honored to be elected as their general secretary for the time being. Our goal is to support the overthrow of the Islamic regime. We are vehemently against this horrendous system of government in Iran, and we advocate the restoration of monarchy in Iran, constitutional monarchy, under the kingship of His Majesty Reza Shah II. However, we do support His Majesty's vision that if monarchy is going to be restored. It has to be done by the will of the people through a national and free referendum, and it must be democratic. The framework must be democratic. So we support all that. And we believe that this system, this Republican system, as good as it might be in some countries like America, it doesn't work in Iran. We don't have the background for it. We don't have the parties for it. We don't have the basic structural for a democratic republic in Iran. And beyond that, when you look at all the political forces within Iran that are supporting the Republican system, the overwhelming majority of them, forget about individuals. There are lots of individuals who support a republic, and they are perfectly Democrats and are very democratic people. But the organized forces in Iran, unfortunately, most of the ones that support a Republican system, they are not at all democratic, not in their ideology, not in their structures, not in their ideas. And under these conditions, we don't believe that a Republican system is going to work. And whether this Islamic regime falls, and if it continues to be some kind of a republic because of all these forces that are at work, we believe that sooner or later it will be a totalitarian type of a republic again. So that's why we support a restoration of monarchy for Iran. It's more conducive towards our culture. A lot of people think that monarchy was imposed on Iran, but it's a false narrative. We had monarchies for thousands of years, and you cannot impose a system of government on a nation for thousands of years without it having deep roots within that society. It's a collective wisdom of our ancestors and our nation that this system works much better than the other ones. If our people chose throughout our history to stick with this kind of a political structure, that tells us something. That tells us that it's more compatible with our culture, with our people, with our situation, geopolitical situation, and a whole range of other things. And our ancestors chose it. And even when we were invaded by forces and other countries, and we were invaded by them, from the Greeks to Arab Muslims to Mongolians. None of them had a monarchical system, but we turned them into monarchies before we accepted the rules for a long time. So we believe, at least it's my firm belief, that that type of a system works much better for Iran. Its constitution, its structure is more conducive for laying down the foundations for a democratic future for Iran. And it's much better for our country, for the location we are. We can't take our country and move it to the middle of I don't know, Pacific Ocean and say that, okay, we have no neighbors, we have no problems. We can, try different things. So for a whole variety of reasons, we believe that that system is much better for Iran. It's better for us. It's better for our neighbors. It's better for for the whole world, and that's why we support it. So, and we've been trying to support it for a long time, and we continue to support it because we believe that it's in the best interest of Iran, its future, and our neighbors, for the region, for the global affairs. And we are very fortunate that we have uh, uh, His Majesty Reza Pahlavi.
Amen to
Because
that.
yeah, because he is extremely, he's very important. I mean, if you now see that,
Let me stop you for one
yeah, go
second,
ahead.
Shayan, before we go to his importance, because there are a few things I want to open a little further before we get to his importance. Also, we do need to head to our first ad break. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back to open up what we just heard, and then we're going to get to the importance of, as I've been saying, Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. Be right back.
Life is too short to spend a single moment spinning in laundry worries. Take a load off your mind with the all-new Norwex Powerzyme laundry detergent. This natural detergent harnesses the power of enzymes and plant-based surfactants to leave fabrics fresh and clean without fillers, brighteners, synthetic fragrances, bleach, or harsh chemicals. So go ahead, have your cake and eat it too. More than ever, stressful stains have met their match. Powerzyme's fast-acting enzymes break down organic substances while natural surfactants loosen locked-in dirt and oil, removing residue, stains, and odors with ease. With 91% bio-based ingredients, this dermatologist-tested hypoallergenic formula is suitable for sensitive skin types and delivers a safe and effective clean that won't harm you or the planet's waterways. Less time spent worrying about laundry means you can focus on what truly matters. Norwex Powerzyme Laundry Detergent. Discover the power of nature and load up on confidence.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with us until now. I do see your questions and I will get to them literally right away. But remember, the only reason I can do what I do is because of your support. And one of the greatest ways you can support my work is head over to cyruswellness.com. Get yourself 100% chemical-free products, save money, and portion of your purchase will become a commission to my bank account as I am an official consultant. And as you know, I've been using all of the product for last 6 months, so I'm not just asking you to do it, I've been doing it myself, cyruswellness.com. Let's get right back to it. My guest today is Mr. Shayan Arya. That I have looked forward to this moment because I know you guys have questions, but I have more questions. And I'm an Iranian. I am the supporter, one of the biggest supporters of bringing back constitutional monarchy into our country, especially or specifically under leadership of Crown Prince Pahlavi. So, Shayan, here's the first question that I have. That is not mine. It is from few of our audience, and it's understandable when this question is, or more of a confusion is created. Just like you explained, though I was born in 1983 after revolution, no tangible picture except pictures of printed pictures or stories told of the constitutional monarch, especially under Pahlavi dynasty. I am all for it. I agree with you. I have told a lot of my fellow Americans that this is just the way we are. From Cyrus the Great until 79, we just fit in culturally, heritagely. We just fit into monarch system better for whatever reason. Now, the other side is when it comes to especially Americans, for them, Republican is the way to go, right? Or they don't see the how does a monarch and a democratic system works. So do you mind taking a few minutes and explaining that system of when we say constitutional monarch, we're not talking about one man as the king making all the decisions. So maybe that would help them understand, or that might clear out the confusion.
Yes, well, I understand that there's a lot of misconceptions about monarchy, especially in America. But I would encourage my American friends, always I do that, to take a look at their history and take a look at even their constitution. It's not as far away as a monarchical system as they think. It's the balance of power that you see in American Constitution. You can argue that it goes back I mean, the founding fathers purposely changed the Constitution when they wrote it, the second Constitution that they wrote, which is the current one. They purposely modeled it after British monarchy before the Glorious Revolution. There are lots of evidence for it. There are lots of writings from the founding fathers. I suggest people take a look at the letter that John Adams, for example, wrote to Sherman. Both of them were founding fathers, and in it, John Adams describes the new system in America as a monarchical republic or a temporary monarchy. So the fact that it's the head of the executive power in under U.S. Constitution is not a crowned monarch, and hereditary kind of a monarchy. Doesn't change the fact that the mechanisms are almost the same. If you look, you'll see that the whole reason for American Revolution wasn't because people were against King George III. You can find a lot of evidence that, in fact, they were against the parliament rather than the king. You can find a lot of evidence in their writings, in their arguments, in their reasonings for the revolution, and they were arguing that the problems they are facing is not because of the king, is because the king's prerogatives and veto power basically was taken away by the parliament. So a lot of our American friends, if they go back to their own history, they'll realize that their system of government is not that far away and different from what the British monarchy was before the Glorious Revolution. That's one thing. The other thing is that for whatever reason, as I said, you look at, let me put it this way, you look at America and you look at Canada. They were both part of British Empire. They both had the monarchical system, basically. And America gained its independence and became a republic. And it's a democratic system. Canada chose to stay within the British Empire and still has its monarchical system. And they're both, Canada and America, they're both democratic. Why is that? Why is it? The reason is that the foundations for the democracy, both in America and in Canada, were laid way before that, under the monarchy, under the hundreds of years of developments within the British monarchical system in terms of English common law, in terms of their personal freedoms, in terms of the separation of powers, in terms of the balance that they had within this their system, system and all that. So we should be the same. I mean, if the monarchical system for Iran works better, there is no reason why we should not go that way and develop the foundations, law foundations, in terms of civil society, in terms of our laws, in terms of our political parties, in terms of our relations with the world, in terms of our security. There is no reason why, if a system of government is more conducive to developing all these things, why should we just put it away and go with another system that is hostile to all of these things? So in Iran, it works much better. That structure works much better. And history has shown it that it works better. And in terms of our monarch, as you said, Prince Reza Pahlavi, as I call him, His Majesty Reza Shah II, he has been consistent. And the reason he's very popular is because of that. He's been consistent in terms of his democratic values. He's been consistent in terms of his honesty. He's been consistent in terms of his vision for the future of Iran. He's been consistent in terms of supporting all groups, even people who were hostile to him and to his father and grandfather, and to the idea of monarchy itself. He's been just a godsend, if you want, at this moment in our history. We have a person who can play that role. We have a system that history has proved to us that it works much better. And it's a better environment for developing our foundations for democratic values and in terms of laws, in terms of, as I said, all these things, civil society and غيره, and all the other things. So why shouldn't we go that way? Just because republics works in America?
But that's the thing. It's interesting you say that, because one of the things, now I normally say I don't do politics, but I have enough understanding of politics to know the difference. Where I'm going with this is, yes, you could say that the republic system in America works, and that's wonderful. Number one, the question is, does it? Because if we look at last 23 years, 25 years in America, though there is a balance of power, but majority of Americans today, including myself, are complaining that the federal government has gained too much power. It is documented on the paper, but the question is, with the modern life we have stepped into in last 30 years, 25 years, what's on the paper doesn't tend to be the real rules and regulations anymore. So for me, those who argue, Iran should go republic versus constitutional monarch, my answer is, I don't care about the system. I care about the person, which brings us back to Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. If people choose to do the monarch, I'm for it. If they choose to do republic, I'm for it, as long as he is the leader of it. Because again, back to America, depending on who's the president, constitution is followed or not followed. Power is gained or lost. Rules are changed or not. I'm not saying republic is not okay. I'm just saying this argument of you should do it our way, not your way. I have a counter argument of, you can't tell me your system necessarily worked either. It's the person behind the system that makes the difference. Correct?
Well, to some extent, but what's more important to me, if you look at the structure of governments and system of governments around the globe, if you look at the democracies at the moment, the overwhelming majority of them are not republic. The top 10 democracies in the world, if you look at it, most of them are monarchical system, and they have developed that way. America is really an exception, and most of the republics that have been successful in terms of being a democratic system, I can argue that most of them, they laid the foundation under their monarchies. So if you can do that, it then after that, it doesn't matter whether you are a monarchy or a republic. If the foundations are there, if the laws are there, if the balance of power is there. Yes, in America, sometimes the presidents, they want to push for more power than, say, some other presidents. But at the same time, if you go back to the founding fathers, which I really love American founding fathers, if you read their writings, their arguments, their visions, you have no choice but to fall in love with them. They, in their wisdom, they saw that the key to being free is to not to have one branch of government having overwhelming power and dominance over the other ones. But it's within this power, and they're always struggling to gain more power, and they balance each other. And that's where the freedom lays, and that's how people can find their freedoms, because these different powers, these different branches, they're always fighting for more power, and the other ones kind of fight it back. So whatever you see in American system, it's natural. It was designed by this way, and unfortunately, the worst thing for a Republican system, as the founding fathers were very worried about, was populism. And unfortunately, one can argue that in America, populism is kind of on the rise on both sides, from the left and from the right. And it's a problem, but at the same time, the system was designed this way. I can't, I can't argue that just because some American presidents, they are fighting for more power or they grab more power when they can, the system doesn't work. It's the balance, it's the laws, it's the structure that really counts. And as I said, in Iran, if you look at even during the after the Iran's constitutional revolution, and if you look at the period under the Pahlavi dynasty, you'll see that we were developing all these foundations for a more and more democratic system. And it was unfortunate that we kind of stopped that and went a different direction, which has been, as you know, a total failure. So back to Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, we are really fortunate to have him. Because, as you said, if he becomes a president under a presidential system at the republic, or becomes a constitutional monarch, he will be a great one either way, and he will help our country to go through this very difficult period of transition. But I would prefer him to become a constitutional monarch rather than an elected president.
And I would say majority of, at least based on what we have witnessed, regardless of people who try to deny it or go deaf on it, we have witnessed the chants on the streets of Iran, not just Tehran, on the streets of Iran, on the streets of London, Paris, Netherlands, Sweden, Istanbul, Israel, everywhere. Los Angeles, everywhere. What we hear is not Pahlavi will return as president. It's not. Like Iranians, including myself, including yourself, we have vocally have said that we would like for, as you said, King Reza Pahlavi II to return. There's a reason chants are Javid Shah. There are a reason, and that's the thing. It's, I don't know, maybe it's a difference of culture. I don't know what it is, but sometimes, to be very transparent, I get frustrated when people ask, like, so what do people want? I'm like, are you listening? Because I don't think Iranians across the world have ever been more clear or loudest than last 36 days.
No, you are right. I mean, I should say that we have a lot of good people, democratic people, who are vehemently against the Islamic regime and are Republicans. But even they are realizing that at this moment in our history, the best candidate to lead us away from this brutal regime into a more democratic future, whatever it might be, whether it's a Republican system or a constitutional monarchy. The best person to do it is Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. So a lot of people are supporting him. But you are right. Overwhelming majority of Iranians, they associate him with the monarchy. And it's not very really strange. I mean, if you look at Iran's society, and if you, as I said at the beginning, if you think about our history, we have had this system of government, the monarchy, for thousands of years. There's a reason for it. No one can impose a system on a nation for thousands of years if that nation didn't want it. And this experiment, and the other reason for it is, and the issue of monarchy is so embedded in our culture, in our history, in our folklore, in terms of our geography. Every aspect you think is the monarchy. Now you look at this experiment with a republican system. It has been
So when you
other
say this
things.
this experiment, for my audience to understand clearly, you're referring
Is
to
the
the
Islamic regime.
1979, the Islamic
Yes.
regime turning it to
Yes.
Islamic Republic of Iran.
Republic.
There you go. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And one should not forget that almost all, I can say almost all, forget about, there were some individuals who were against monarchy and were supporting republics who didn't support the Islamic regime. But overwhelming majority of people who supported a republican system actually supported the Islamic regime. And they supported this establishment of the Islamic Republic. And their argument at the time was that republican systems are more conducive towards reform. We can reform it even if president was bad. We can just change it through elections. So it's a much better system. That was their argument. And unfortunately, it has been an utter failure. For 50 years, they have tried every angle, every venue to do any kind of reforms, and they have all failed. So people, when they look back at history and they look at this 50 years of experiment with republican system, Islamic Republic, they have every right to say that, you know what, we made a mistake. We have to go back to our system, which is more conducive towards our history, which is more compatible with our culture, which we can gain more of our freedoms, develop our economies, and all that stuff. Have more secure borders, have a more respectable position within the international community, have a better relations with the world, and all of that. So people have every right to go back and look at where they were and where they are right now, and make a decision that, you know what, it was a mistake. We have to go back, and we won't be the only nation who does that. You look at, say, even British during the interregnum, during the Stuart period, when Oliver Cromwell took over the government, abolished the monarchy. After 11 years, they realized, you know what, we made a mistake. We should go back. They went back, and they developed their democracy to this day, with much better, consistent ways, and with far less turmoil, let's put it this way, than, say, other countries. Look at Cambodia. For many years, they tried this sort of leftist republic under Khmer Rouge, and it was a disaster. So they went back to their monarchy. Prince Sihanouk came back, and Cambodia became a normal country once again, and started to develop its culture, economy, and all that stuff. The same thing with Spain. Spain, they experimented with a republic. They went through all kinds of turmoils, and they brought back their monarchy. So we won't be the first nation who does that. And if it works for us, we should do it. We shouldn't have prejudices, for against the monarchy or against the republic. If it works, that's fine. But from what we are seeing and what we have experimented, and based on our experience, it hasn't worked. So why do we have to stick with something that is not working? And look at
Why
the whole
try
Middle
something
East.
we tried and it failed? Exactly.
Exactly. You look at the whole Middle East. You look at North Africa. You go from, say, Morocco. You come all the way to Afghanistan. You see republics. You see monarchies. Granted, none of them are, Jeffersonian republics or democracies. But you look at the monarchies in Morocco, you look in Jordan, in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, in United Arab Emirates, and all over the place. And you see that they have a much more stable societies. Their freedoms are far more. The price that the population pays for reform is far less than the price that people are paying, say, in Iran. Over the past few weeks, you saw how difficult it is. What's the enormous price people have to pay? Tens of thousands of people get killed. For what? You look at, I don't know, look at Iraq under Saddam Hussein, look at Syria under Bashar Assad, look at Afghanistan under Taliban, you look at
Lebanon under Hezbollah.
Lebanon under Hezbollah, look at, I don't know, Libya under Gaddafi. I mean, it's not even comparable.
No.
This Republican system in the Middle East, and at least North Africa, has been an utter failure. And monarchies, granted they are not perfect, they are not flawless, they have worked much better. So why shouldn't we go back to something that worked, and our society paid far less price for reform under those systems,
Exactly.
and stick to something that is not working for us.
So here's
So
the
that's
thing. I'm so sorry. We're coming
No, go
to
ahead.
literally the last few minutes of our interview. I want to make sure, because about 90% of my audience are my fellow Americans, and many of them keep asking, what can we do as Americans? What can we do? So let me ask you that question. What can fellow Americans do today as Iranians inside Iran and those of us outside of Iran are trying to make this historic moment happen? Is there anything that Americans can do to help this process?
Yes, there are a lot of things. First and foremost, I'll tell my American friends is that, first of all, put your prejudice aside about the monarchy. That's the first thing. And that's the most important thing. The second thing is to ask U.S. government to do everything they can in order to support the Iranian people and their leader, Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, and his vision for future. I mean, we have to maximize our support for the Iranian people and make sure that there is no deal with this brutal regime. And we have to make sure that this regime will not survive. If this regime survives this revolution, then it won't be just Iranians who pay for it. The whole region will pay for it. They'll go after. If a regime is capable of killing tens of thousands of its own citizens in a matter of 2 days, imagine what they can do to others if they get their hands on some more destructive weapon. We have to make sure that our politicians know about that. Make sure that our politicians are not fooled by the agents of the Islamic regime, which are, as you know, probably know better than I do, that are everywhere. in academia, in think tanks. There are lots of people who have been bought by the Islamic regime, unfortunately. And also, they are not fooled by these so-called groups like MKO, as you say, like Ms. Rajavi and others, who are mirror images of the Islamic regime, just in a different way. But their goals, their ideologies, their backgrounds, they're all the same. So we shouldn't be fooled by all of that. And just listen to the Iranian people. Look at what's going on in Iran. Listen to Iranian people calling for their leader. Recognize that leader. Acknowledge that he is the leader of this revolution. Start negotiating with him as to the best way to move into a transitional period. And also support him in any way, shape, or form that you can. I think that's the best thing we can do. I would add to our European friends that, cut all the diplomatic ties. I mean, America doesn't have a diplomatic tie with the Islamic regime. However, a lot of other countries, they do. A lot of US allies do. So I would encourage my American friends to push the government and the House and the Senate to put pressure on US allies to do the same thing. Kick these terrorist so-called diplomats of the Islamic regime out of their countries, isolate them, and make sure that they won't be able to survive this revolution. And one last thing is that President Trump, I personally love him. I think he's great. And I believe that he will keep up his promise. But again, it never hurts from Americans to remind him that he made a promise to the Iranian people. And millions of them came out. They didn't come up because he called, but at least they were assured by him that if the Islamic regime starts killing them, which they did, they will pay a heavy price for it. I hope that he will keep up to his promise. He will honor his promise, and he will do everything he can to undermine this regime. And hopefully soon, with the collapse of this Islamic regime, we'll have a better relations with America, with Israel, with everyone. And America will be better off for it. And,
Amen.
And that's all I can say.
Well, I think that's plenty call to action. And the good news is majority of my audience are very action oriented. So I appreciate you giving them some tangible steps to take. And of course, I'm grateful for your time, for your wisdom. Thank you for everything you're doing that the rest of us cannot do. And I hope we can get you back on the program to discuss further. I feel like the more we talk about this, the more our fellow Americans can actually understand that this is real. This is not some uprising that went away. This is not 2009. This is not 2012. So hopefully we can get you back in a week or two for more updates.
One other thing, if I may add, is that
of course,
American friends, don't be shy. Don't think that these demonstrations are only for Iranians. Please join us.
Yes. Yes, we can use all the voices.
Yes. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here. I'll be happy to come back whenever you want.
Fantastic. I will absolutely reach out to you after today's show. And again, I appreciate you. Please keep up the good work. And I will talk to you soon, Shayan John. Appreciate you.
We'll try. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. To my lovely audience, I still have a few minutes to wrap up the show, but we do need to go take our next ad break. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back after this ad break to close the show. Well, hello everybody. It's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my artist studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. Finish this painting, but I'm sure, for at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. I am looking at some of your comments. I agree. As I promised 2 weeks ago, I'm going to start lining up some new guests that will give more understanding, way better than I could, to my fellow Americans as to why it's happening, how realistic it is. And I genuinely, in a kind way, I had many people saying, why would you, personally me, why would you support monarchy or, you know, a prince? And I'm like, I hope these shows can help you understand where we come from. Also, of course, we want to make sure you know it is not over. I noticed some of you said you don't hear anything about it in Canada. You're not hearing anything about it in other places. And no, it's happening. And it will continue happening. But before I run out of time, I want to make sure that since I skipped one of my ad breaks, I want to remind you guys, I do what I do, of course, outside of my show. It's because of all of your support. But this is a specific show that is happening Monday through Friday now. And I get to sit here and wave my hands and talk to you. It's because Brennan House has generously allowed me to have a full hour Monday through Friday airtime, bandwidth, and also Thomas is running everything in the background. I don't push buttons. You see, my hands are free to fly around like Iranians do. All of that is cost, and he's charging me nothing. He's not charging me a penny for this. So I need you to, if you are a Worldview Tube viewer watching us there, I know you guys are amazing and generous and you always help us. But to my audience outside of Worldview Tube, make sure to support Worldview Tube. There are so many different ways. They have a store where you can purchase some very necessary items such as freeze-dry food, emergency kit, I mean literally medical emergency kit, a wellness center. You can pick up generators. You name it, they have it. Their water purifier is amazing. Also, if you prefer giving tax-deductible gift, you can go to worldviewfoundation.com, and that's 100% tax-deductible donation. You can send in a check. You can become a vault member where you get access to 3 decades of research, videos, articles, interviews, documentaries. And again, I could say, yes, I could have a show. It wouldn't look this good. I couldn't have all these guests on. I wouldn't have the free mind to just keep talking to you if it wasn't for Worldview Tube, approved by Brown House and the brilliant work of Thomas behind the scenes. So I need you to support them, because the longer Worldview Tube is supported, the longer I can be here to do the show. Worldviewtube.com. Just go there. There are all the buttons there for you to find out about everything I just said. It is important to support Worldview Tube. And again, it is, I would say, to my understanding as of right now, Worldview Tube is the only Christian conservative network that is standing by the Christian conservative values. You know, as you know, most of the conservative networks are doing what? Covering MEK. What are we doing here? Well, you just heard the guest. It's only Monday. Wait until end of the week. So aside my show, it is a network that is standing by its values. Of course, Yale said, ask Mark Levine to put you on his show. I don't think he would, but just so you know, again, that's why I take it back to Worldview Tube and being on Brennan's show regularly. I have written requests to Mark Levine, Glenn Beck, even Steven Crowder, who used to have me on his show back in the time. No answer yet. But if they do, well, you'll see me on their shows. But during this whole time, as I tried, we have not had anyone write back and invite me yet, but we'll see. Hi, Nancy. Yes, Goldie is posting the posters of all the rallies coming up. And I agree with what Shayan said. You see the yesterday video of Toronto or LA for that matter. You'll see a lot of Canadians and Americans who have joined these rallies. So, or you can honestly on your platform, X, Facebook, wherever you are, just look up the Lion and Sun protests or rallies in your city. There are a lot of information that will pop up in the English way. Easier way to look for it is Lion and Sun, that S-U-N, Sun rallies in your town. They will come up. Lori says, you're likely too controversial right now, sister. Just not right now. I'm always apparently controversial. Don says, I love World YouTube, the best source of news and information. Agreed. And that's the thing. To top what you said, I will be even go further and be a little picky. It's not just the best source of news. It is the most trusted source of news. Like Brannon does not tell us what to do, right? Like I don't have a, you can do this, you cannot do that, you can do this. Of course, aside the standard of broadcasting, watch your language, have a clean mouth. The only requirement he made every single person who has a broadcast on his network, the only requirement is if I fact check you and you made it up, you're in trouble. Like we have to tell the truth and we have to show receipt. So it becomes the most reliable factual source of news because we don't just sit here. When October 7th happened, when 12 Days War happened, Brannon, myself, Aaron from Israel, Dr. Andy Woods, Patrick Wood, Sharon Hadian, all of us around the clock were on air. And those of you who caught it, it was my main job was to fact check. Brad's like, is this video legit? I listen, it is. He's like, okay, we can air it. It's not one of those networks where you just say what you want to say and nobody does anything about it. That's one of the main things I like about this network. Can you go on Goldie's show and 2C's show? Nancy, I did reach out to Goldie. She wasn't really interested in communicating, which is okay. But I'll see what I can do with 2C. And definitely. Here's the thing. I think one of the things is those of us, this isn't about me or Goldie or 2C or any of that. It's that all of us, like, we don't really add to each other when we go on each other's show. So we're trying to spread to where we have experts on. Like, I have experts on. Goldie is doing the solid reporting. 2C is getting videos from Europe, if that makes sense. Like, we feel like right now, just going on each other's show isn't going to add much. So I think that's one of the reasons. On all of that note, guys, I am down to 20 seconds. You're amazing. I'll be back tomorrow. liveuptofreedom.substack.com, cyruswellness.com, lutfsu.com are the places you can support me if you see my work worthy of your financial support. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, you stay safe, stay vigilant. Keep praying for people of Iran, and God bless you. Bye, guys.
You're watching World